Finally, 2 peregrine falcons brought the demolition of a power station to a halt temporarily today. They'd made their home at the top of the building's chimney. Tony Barnes watched their rescue.
At first light, a team of steeplejacks was getting ready to save the rare bird threatened with being blown up by demolition men. With thousands of pounds of high explosives packed around its base, they scaled Meaford Power Station's chimney near Stoke-on-Trent. As it was being prepared for demolition, wildlife experts pointed out 2 peregrine falcons nesting at the top. They're protected and it's illegal to destroy a nesting site.
The peregrines, I know from sources, have been there now for about 4 years, actually coming to this particular chimney stack and nesting and breeding.
So, 2 steeplejacks climbed more than 380 feet on iron grab handles, some of them loose, to the top. One of them then inched his way around the edge, searching for the nesting site in case there were eggs or chicks there. But finding nothing, they returned empty-handed. It wasn't entirely fruitless, though. The demolition team saved some kestrel eggs from lower down. Then, on the dot of 6 o'clock, the chimney was finally demolished, leaving the peregrines to search for a new home after the dust had settled. Tony Barnes, ITN, Staffordshire.
And that is it from ITN this evening. From the weekend news team here, goodbye.
Hello, good evening. Southeastern parts of Britain will stay dry for the next 24 hours, but the rest, I think, will have outbreaks of rain from time to time. The chart for tomorrow looks very unsettled, as you can see. Lots of weather fronts and low pressure around to the north and west there, but things will change dramatically over the next 2 or 3 days. By the middle of the week, high pressure will be firmly in control, and the weather looks very settled, I think, from Wednesday onwards. Lots of sunshine for us all. What about tonight? Well, there is thicker cloud in the west. Those weather fronts are going to produce further outbreaks of rain and drizzle across Scotland, Northern Ireland and western parts of England and Wales. The further south and east you go, the drier it becomes, and it's a mild night for us all. So tomorrow then, the best of the sunshine during the morning in southeastern corner of Britain. Elsewhere, a lot of cloud and further outbreaks of rain, so a damp start to the day for many of you in the west and the north there. But the trend through the day will be for those weather fronts to get weaker and the cloud to begin to break up a little bit. So 1 or 2 brighter spells during the afternoon, along with 1 or 2 scattered showers as well. And the temperatures, a range of 16 or 17 in the northwest to 23 in the southeast. That's 73. Good night.
Sponsored by Powergen, producing electricity, whatever the weather.
I don't feel that the criminalisation of drug taking helps. 1 million tablets of ecstasy are being taken every week, and the government is saying it's against the law. And the statistics are far less, for people dying from peanut allergies.
Lee Betts' parents, do you have a message for them?
LWT weather, sponsored by First Choice Holidays, for a brighter outlook.
Good evening. We've had some of the best weather in the LWT region across the whole of the country, and no problems tonight either. Mild temperatures between 10 and 13 Celsius. A little bits of patchy clouds around, but no problems really. As for Monday morning, well, plenty of sunshine around to start off the day, but by the afternoon, more cloud building up, but lots of brightness around still, and temperatures ranging between 24 and 25 Celsius. 25 takes it up to 77 Fahrenheit. That's it from me. Have a good week. Good night.
For a detailed forecast, call Weather Update, sponsored by First Choice Holidays on 0891 110000.
Germany v the Czech Republic and Denmark v Portugal. The highlights coming up next.
The hard right, then hard left, and then right again. Come on, quick. Into the garage. The right is first cut. And then that's hard. Good. Over the road, stop. And stop. Excellent. Good drive. And good pass.
It's called half and half. An eloquent testament to the simplicity of modern purchase. It's saying you only pay for half, yet you drive an entire brand new Ford today. And this says You don't pay the other half for 2 years, or you return the car. And yet, in between, and so simple, it's brilliant. It's nothing. Huh? Nothing. No interest, no repayment. I love it for its accessibility.
Half and half. Now viewing at your Ford dealer.
Only the best comedians are funny enough for this show.
Because, I mean, I'm a comedian. I hate having to explain that, but I do sometimes.
With an audience like this, you've got to be good.
Is there anybody here you wish wasn't here?
By a curious coincidence.
They've come to see Bob at what Bob does best. Next Saturday at 9, an audience with Bob Monkhouse.
Oh, bless him.
Just after midnight, our movie is the sci-fi chiller High Desert Kill. First, highlights of the day's action from Euro 96.
Euro 96 is up and running, coinciding nicely with the arrival of the British summer. At first, England seemed set fair. Shearer's international goal drought is over. Then a touch of sunstroke. Keen to extend the hand of friendship, but not like that. Switzerland make their point. Once again, England start a big tournament on a downer. And now tomorrow's papers are clamouring for changes. Gazza's the man in the firing line. In match 2, two players see red as Bulgaria and Spain end up with a score draw. Goal highlights coming up later. Also tonight we'll see Germany, the tournament favourites, but without the suspended Klinsmann, starting their campaign against the Czech Republic at Old Trafford. And Denmark, the European champions, once again laid back. And welcome to our first Euro 96 highlight show. Half of the teams have already been in action, the others are raring to go over the next couple of days. England's performance in the opening game still very much the major issue. I'm joined by Ray Wilkins and John Barnes, who've both been there and done that in an England shirt. And Lee Hurst still waiting for your first call up, Lee.
Yep, I am indeed. I've got my kit with me, though.
A couple of players this afternoon in the Bulgarian team might have given you a little bit of encouragement, perhaps, though. Lechkov and Mikhailov.
Why would that be, Jim? This is, have we got Lechkov? Got a picture of him?
He'll be around in a minute, yes.
Yeah.
There we go. I can't think why.
Well, yeah. Ray, what do you reckon on this?
I think it's a nice hairstyle, actually.
It is, isn't it?
Say, yeah. Very
That's
nice.
very good. I mean, this guy's bald, right, and he's accepted it, which I think is good. But the problem is Mikhailov, the keeper. That has got to be the worst syrup I've ever seen in my life. I suppose when he shouts out "over here, son," on my head, he's talking to his hairdresser. I mean, it'd be useful if you were a forward, though, couldn't you? You could put springs under it, couldn't you, Ray? Just nut that ball in, a bit of extra oomph there. That's just no good to me.
I think I prefer the natural look.
I think so too, yeah.
You haven't got much of a choice,
That's right, yeah, right. Enough from you, John.
Right, yeah. Well, I don't think too many of the England players have gone for a short back and sides this weekend. They've dispersed, though, and they'll reassemble at their Buckinghamshire headquarters tomorrow night. We tracked down Paul Ince today for his explanation of that Euro 96 debut. Paul kicking around with his 4-year-old son, Thomas, making the most, really, of a touch of domesticity away from that England goldfish bowl.
Left foot. Good boy. A lot of us got wives and kids, and it's nice to see them, you know what I mean? If you don't see them, it's a three weeks away for that, seeing your family. So it's nice to have that break where you can come home, relax, and get away from football. Sometimes it's not nice to just be in football. It's it's nice to just get away and relax without people talking about football and this and that. So, yeah, I think it's a good idea. The game's over, done with now. We've just got to prepare ourselves for Saturday, and we know now what we've got to do. We've got to win both games, or at least win the Scottish game first, and hopefully the Holland game will take care of itself. So we're ready for it.
OK, they're ready for it, Ray. A lot of people very disappointing with that England opener yesterday. What were your impressions?
Well, I thought first half we did quite well. Obviously, it's very, very important that you don't lose the first game. I thought the lads tired in the second half, as Terry's already stated. We did seem to lose a lot of ground, or give way a lot of ground to them. But that's nervous energy as well. There's a lot of expectations upon our lads to perform to a very high standard. I personally feel that lads will perform to a high standard later on in the tournament.
I mean, Ray, I've been with you on trips, and we're all used to headlines. Here are a couple from tomorrow. I hope you can see that. They ain't half shot out of Gaz. There's another one. And England throw it away, the headline in the Times. John Barnes, how will the players react to this sort of stuff when it drops on the door tomorrow? Because they do take notice of it, I know that.
Well, I think they're learning now. I mean, that's been going on for a while, since I've been in the England squad, in tournaments. As soon as you have a bit of a hiccup, the press get on it. And I think Tony Adams made the point when he was trying to encourage the young lads to say, well, don't read the papers, don't look at you know, watch certain things on television. So they'll try and not take much notice of that. But as you say, it is hard.
OK, I mean, Gazza inevitably in the spotlight again. If we look at him yesterday, and one of the problems with
the weight off Alan's shoulders.
Here, I think we see a few of the problems, John, that England had and that Gazza had, in that a lot of his work went unfulfilled, really.
Well, Gazza, in his enthusiasm to do well, will chase. From the first minute, he'll run all over the pitch. So I think that's why he possibly tired in the second half. We have to really play in our positions much more, because we're a team who tends to... Anderton came in, Gazza went to get the ball off either full-back, and we did a lot of work off the ball. I think we really have to be much more aware of our positions and just play in our positions, particularly when we haven't got the ball. You know, because I think, as I said, I think that's why they tired in the second half, because we're just chasing around.
Ray, you're a manager. Should he drop him?
No, I wouldn't drop him, no. He plays with so much enthusiasm, and as John quite rightly states, we do need to get our shape back slightly better when we lose possession of the ball. But in possession of the ball, he is one guy that can create. And he did lots of good things in the game yesterday, lots of good things, especially in the first half. And I sincerely hope that he really clicks and he shows people what he can do.
OK, let's hope so. Well, let's check on the Scots now, shall we, as they kick off against Holland at Villa Park tomorrow afternoon. Yes, there are a few misgivings about the overall strength of the 80-to-1 outsiders. No worries at all in goal, where Andy Gorham and the rejuvenated Jim Leighton are both available. Gabriel Clark now reporting.
Not too many Scotland coaches have been confronted with Craig Brown's selection dilemma. In their own ways, Andy Gorham and Jim Leighton both deserve to start as number one against Holland. But when Brown does make his final decision, he'll disappoint one half of a very special goalkeepers' union.
I used to make Jim's tea for him in his room. He's still not made me any tea yet, though. No, I used to, 86, the World Cup there, we were together. We're good pals, you know, off the park. We've played against each other many times on the park. And we're always there for each other if anything should go wrong. And that's the way it should be.
Gorham understudied again at Italian 90, when Leighton, dropped weeks earlier by Manchester United, endured another huge disappointment. That Brazilian goal ended Scotland's World Cup and, it seemed, Leighton's international career. Gorham's emergence at Rangers made him first choice at Euro 92. Yet 4 years on, their goalkeeping rivalry is almost as close as their friendship. When Ali McCoist won a crucial qualifier against Greece, it was Leighton, aged 37, in goal at the other end, because Gorham had opted out. In the past, fitness had been a problem, but Gorham said he wasn't mentally attuned. The criticism was intense.
At least I came out and told the truth. If we'd have played that game and made a mistake that cost us a game, I wouldn't have been able to handle that. But at least I could handle telling the truth, and I'm probably a bit proud of the fact.
Craig Brown stayed loyal to Jim Leighton for the last 6 qualifying games. He didn't concede a goal. Yet Gorham's form and fitness have been exceptional in recent months for Rangers, and now it might be even tougher for Brown to leave him out.
Two great characters, two great goalkeepers, Jim Leighton and Andy Gorham. The man who has to decide who to play joins us now. Craig Brown, live from the Scottish camp. Craig, good evening, welcome.
Good evening, Jim.
Who's in goal tomorrow?
Well, I'm going to leave that to the last minute. The players know, but I think, in fairness, I should keep it because I've kept the rest of the team secret.
it does give the opposing coach a slight advantage if he knows for sure who's in goal. I've got two excellent goalkeepers, and any coach, I think, would be delighted to have either of them.
That's a very difficult decision, though, for you to make up your mind between these two.
Very difficult. We've got two outstanding keepers, and incidentally, we have a magnificent goalkeeping coach, Alan Hodgkinson, the former England international player. So Alan guides us in the goalkeeping situation as well, you know. But Jim Leighton has over 70 caps, and I think he's got 35 shutouts for Scotland. Andy Gorham, with less caps, has had also a very, very impressive record playing for both his club and his country. So we're very fortunate to have these two guys to choose from.
I think you went to Villa Park this afternoon, if I'm correct. What's that pitch like there?
Well, the pitch is remarkable. We were a bit worried about it after seeing it in the English Cup semi-final, but the pitch was a bowling green today. We were thrilled with the pitch, and we've got some very skillful midfield players who were anxious to get a good surface, and guys like McAllister and John Collins, Billy McKinley, who like to pass the ball, were delighted when they saw the state of the pitch.
Now then, Craig, you're going to give it a real crack tomorrow. You have your players fired up, but there have been 30 yellow cards and 2 red cards today. Does that worry you?
Yeah, there have been a lot of... I think the referees seem to be under instructions to be very strict, particularly in the opening games, and I've been talking to our players tonight, and we've been impressing upon them the need for good discipline. Our disciplinary record in qualifying games was excellent. We had no players suspended throughout the 10 qualifying games, so I hope that will continue.
But people have had yellow cards today for very trivial little offences, haven't they?
Well, yes, I've watched some of the games, most of the games on TV. We were training during one of them, but I did see quite innocuous fouls being pulled up, but I do think that that is an instruction from the organisers to clamp down and make sure this is a very sporting tournament. We intend to make it a sporting tournament, although we've got some players who can handle themselves, I think you know.
Are you going to upset the Dutch tomorrow?
Well, I would hope so. I think we're very confident about a game against Holland. I think there's a cautious optimism about the Scottish team. We get no credit in some quarters for a very good qualifying campaign in which we lost only 3 goals. So I think the Dutch will find it very difficult to score against Scotland. I hope that's the case, and certainly we'll be committed to trying to score against them. And although we haven't scored a great deal of goals, we've been making chances, particularly in the recent friendlies, and I think by the law of averages we're bound to score a goal or two.
Thanks, Craig. You look really relaxed. You're obviously enjoying your first big tournament.
Yeah, it's not my first tournament. I've been, this is my 4th tournament, but it's the first in charge. I was with Alex Ferguson in 1986. Yeah.
I don't know if John Barnes and Ray Wilkins will wish you the best of luck tomorrow, but from us all, the best of luck against...
Well, thanks very much.
OK.
Thanks, Jim.
Right, and of course, a reminder, you can see Scotland against Holland only here on ITV. It's an afternoon match, that one at Villa Park, and be sure to join Bob Wilson just after 4 o'clock. It's a 4:30 kickoff. Right, now let's assess the Germans, the team to beat. But they were nothing for 6 years under Bertie Vogts, and he really needs a title now to keep his job. Germany's Euro pedigree, though, is quite superb. As West Germany, they were champions in 72 and in 80. Beaten finalists last time, they're the only team to have won this competition twice. Well, the Germans in the tightest group for my money, that's Group C, along with Italy, Russia and the Czech Republic. Unbeaten against the Norwegians and the Dutch in qualifying, where the Czechs a 66-1 shot with the bookmakers. But they've got a bit of a history, really, of upsetting the odds. No pressure, then, on the Czechs. The Germans without the suspended Klinsmann. Old Trafford is the venue, and Ron Atkinson is sitting alongside commentator Peter Brackley.
Decisions, decisions. The main dilemma facing Germany's coach Bertie Vogts, of course, was which pairing to choose up front in the absence of the suspended Jürgen Klinsmann. He's opted for Fredi Bobic as partner to Stefan Kuntz, with Oliver Bierhoff left on the bench. Mario Basler is out with a damaged ankle, and Stefan Freund banned. So Thomas Hessler and Andy Möller both start in midfield, along with Dieter Eilts as anchor. It looks a cautious side that the Czech Republic have plumped for. Pavel Kuka, one of 5 German-based players in the squad, is the only outright striker. They've even omitted their leading scorer from the qualifiers, Patrick Berger from Borussia Dortmund. Miroslav Kadlec will be a key man in the sweeper role. And it could be a hectic afternoon for Peter Kober, whose recovery from an elbow injury means there's